Welcome to the Driver Reviews channel. I'm Vicki Butler-Henderson and today we are looking at the third generation of BMW's ever popular family car, the X1. And to ensure all tastes are catered for, it comes with a diesel, petrol or hybrid engine and of course in electric form. Here it's called the iX1. It indirectly replaces the innovative i3 and is now the company's entry-level EV. Electric prices range from around £46,000 up to about £57,000. This one is in the mid-range. It's an eDrive 20 and it is in the top trim of M Sport and it costs about £51,000 plus a few optional extras. The front end is very upright. There is a cunningly disguised radar sensor in here and it is sandwiched between these contrastingly slim headlights that wrap around to the sides. It flows up to this bulge in the bonnet which is more befitting of a V10 from a BMW. I know there's not a V10 in there, but let's have a look anyway. Yeah. From that impressive front end to the profile, which features short overhangs and a long wheelbase, which seem to be the de facto proportions for all SUVs, but it's around the back where my favourite features are. These protruding rear lights are fantastic, as are the rear spoiler and the rear diffuser, just like a Formula One car. However, this isn't. A full charge and a soft right foot could give you almost 300 miles between charges, but that's not class leading. Perhaps you don't need it to be. Topping up from a powerful public charger can give you 62 miles in 8 minutes, or if you've got around half an hour to spend, you can go from 10% to 80% full. If you're charging at night, there's a very useful light to help you here. In the boot, there are bag hooks, a 12-volt socket and a neat under-the-floor compartment for your charging cables. At 490 litres, it is a bit bigger than a Golf's, but it is 50 litres less than a non-electric X1. You can treble the size of this boot though by dropping the back seats. And if you've got more stuff to lug about, then you can have a tow bar and then you can pull 1,200 kilograms. Keeping things on the road are a set of 19-inch multi-spoke alloys wrapped in Hankook S1 Evo 3 tyres. The X1's wheels range from 17 to 20 inches and the Hankook S1 Evo 3 tyres on this iX1 have been reviewed by over 1,000 drivers on DriverReviews, achieving a rating of 4.5 out of 5 stars. The Tyre also picked up the Best Tyre Award for small SUVs in the DriverReviews Customer Choice Awards. At the helm, BMW's intuitive rotary controller that has kept BMW drivers engaged for decades is no longer here. Instead, you have to go into the touchscreen to control pretty much everything. There are no physical buttons for the quick things that we often need, like the heater or a hot wheel, but fortunately they are always on display at the bottom of the screen. There is, hurrah, a physical controller for the volume. There is a lovely mix of colours and materials throughout the cabin, and these terrific door handles and grab handles are a lovely eye-catching design. There's this floating centre console and underneath there's enough room for a handbag, which is good news for me because mine usually ends up in the passenger seat or thrown all over the floor somewhere. But an interesting function to this armrest is that it opens the wrong way for me, showing that this car definitely has a left-hand drive bias when it was built, so you do end up having a bit of a rummage around to find anything. There's definitely a premium feel to most of the car, but there are areas where you can tell some money has been saved. The door bins, for example. Inside here it's quite rough, scratchy plastic, and the bins aren't carpeted, so if you put anything in there it will rattle around. Then there is the glove box, which comes down quite low and is in danger of hitting somebody's knee. There's no kick plate as you enter the car, so all grime and dirt can get stuck into those gaps there. And finally, the seat belt. Now, I like a height adjustable seat belt so I can have a nice snug fit over my shoulder Not happening here. The seats are really nicely contoured and they look fantastic from behind. And they've got this lovely feature of an extra bit of cushioning and support if you've got long legs. I've never used these. When it comes to tech, there is a lot of it, including Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which connects your phone to the car. And if you've never experienced it, it will be a game changer when you do. Now, if you want to wirelessly charge your phone, you have to buy the £1,700 tech pack, but it does come with this locking mechanism that holds the phone upright as it charges. Press this My Modes button and an array of moods come up, including one of my favourites, Relax, which closes the blind to the panoramic sunroof. There are so many optional extras that you can spend days poring over and money pouring into. Of course, there's a BMW app which helps you connect with the recharging network and allows you to set the timing limits and stuff like that remotely. Then there's BMW's intelligent personal assistant, which learns your habits. So if every day you go to work, you go to the car park, the window comes down, you take a ticket, it will learn to automatically get your window down in advance of you reaching out for a ticket. Little things like that make life very simple. In the back, there are some practical features like chunky door bins and storage nets. Just don't leave your iPad in there. Some USB-C ports, and if you want to recline, well, you can. If you're the unlucky one to be in the squashed middle, don't worry, because even though this cushion is raised, it is very comfortable. But now for my favourite seat. DriverReviews partners with many of the largest tyre retailers in the world, bringing you thousands of verified and unbiased customer tyre reviews. Our independent reviews cover over 70 different tyre brands across all price ranges and feature leading brands including Goodyear, Dunlop, Michelin, Continental, Hankook and many more. So when you're searching for new tyres, look out for the DriverReviews logo to give you peace of mind that the reviews come from real customers just like you. To discover your local DriverReviews partner website and to find out the winning tyres of this year's Customer Choice Awards, visit driverreviews.com. This is my preferred seat, and powering proceedings for this front-wheel drive iX1 eDrive 20 is around 200 horsepower. There is a boost paddle, more of which later, but if that isn't enough for you, then there is an all-wheel drive eDrive 30 with around 300 horsepower, but what you gain in power you lose in range. Now, these driving modes, personal, sport and efficient, and let's go and test them out on 3 different roads. First up, city. I have got a complaint so early on, I know, but it is this massive steering wheel. It is like a pumped up lifebuoy that you would throw out to sea to save somebody. I actually don't know anybody with big enough hands to grip this properly. I definitely don't. But the steering itself is really light around town, which is super good for parking. However, there is a little issue on the back rear quarters. The D-pillars are so thick that you can't see very well out of them. But no worries, you have a reversing camera to help. If you're somebody who doesn't like to waste any electricity, then you need to use the B function here. It basically gives you maximum regenerative braking. So when you lift off the throttle, the car comes pretty much to a stop. I find it really intrusive, but I know that some love it. For me though, I'll just stick it back into drive. Going over potholes, like that one, it is a bit firmer than rivals, but there's that payoff between having a sporty suspension and a super comfortable ride. Cruising now, and efficient mode, okay. So as you would expect with an electric car, it picks up speed incredibly well and it will power on into the flow of traffic without any problems whatsoever. If you want to pick up any speed for overtaking, a quick stab at the throttle, and because you have got an electric car which gives you instant torque, boom, you are away. It is built on the same platform as the Mini Countryman, and you can see that review elsewhere on our channel. And so to cornering, put it into sport mode and everything sharpens up. I can instantly feel sort of like a tautness and an eagerness from the throttle and the steering, and definitely things have got a little friskier. 0 to 62 happens in 8.6 seconds, but quite surprisingly, put your foot down hard and you get quite a lot of torque steer. Now that is when the grunt of the car is having a little disagreement with the tyres and it ends up having a bit of a wiggle in your hands. So it's just torque steering around, which is a little unsettling, and the only way to stop it is to lift off and go slowly. But we don't want to do that. I need to talk to you about this boost, okay? So click it once and you get 10 seconds of boost, 10 seconds of extra power that you can do as you want with. And there's a countdown, which is a really neat feature, and it does make you feel like you're in a computer game, and it is actually too addictive. This car does a really good job of disguising the fact that it is nearly 2 tons in weight. I mean, that is a hefty family car, but of course electric cars are heavy. And it is quite nimble around the corners. The brakes are good and they're quite progressive in their feel. It is a really competent package. It's just this steering that needs to be ironed out, and a lot thinner wheel, please, next time. This marketplace is packed with award-winning machines like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Mustang Mach-E and the Tesla Model Y. The iX1 is on the pricey side and it doesn't have a class-leading range, but it does have a class-leading badge and strong curb appeal, and that might be just enough to tempt you and your family. Thank you so much for watching Driver Reviews today. Please let us know your comments on the BMW in the section below, and please press subscribe and the bell icon so that you're notified every time we post something new.